Hey y'all, this is David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about weapon reach. This is derived from a rule in A Song of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones role-playing game. It's, in my opinion, a great rule, so I'm going to steal it. I'm going to get it for other games as well. So, what this ruling is, it's just another way to make weapons feel different, and that's great. I want every weapon to feel different and unique. You get a reason to pick a mace instead of a warhammer. Get a reason to pick a short sword instead of a longer sword. So in this case, reach comes into that, which is wonderful. They've got a couple other things like training or the balance of weapons, which are great as well. But we're talking about reach today. So basically the way it works, each weapon has a length, a reach that it can strike within, and it cannot strike without. For example, a dagger might have reach 0. You have to get right next to someone to use it. Whereas a short sword might have a reach of 1. You can attack them from up to 1 yard away or 3 feet away, which is about the same as a yard, or a meter. They're all pretty much the same measure. And then a longer sword might have a reach of, what did I say, of 2. So you get in there with a bastard sword, with a hand-and-a-half sword, or with a battle axe. Might have that same reach, maybe. So then you come in with a reach of 2. And then a spear, or maybe a two-handed sword, come in with like a reach of 3. So if, for example, you have that spear, you have to be within 3 yards of them to strike them. You can't strike them at 2. You can't strike them at 4. So you can right away see that this will cause some movement on the battlefield, and that's always good. It's not as exciting to see two guys standing head-to-head, slugging it out, as it is the dance and the weave, moving back and forth, parrying and thrusting. It's much more exciting. So let's say someone with a short sword is coming at someone with a spear. So the short sword, on his turn, he needs to move in and attack. On the spear's turn, he needs to move back and attack. Because with the spear, you can't attack with that close range. Maybe you could get a feat to do that, or a penalty to do that. But this system is built around the range being very specific. So that's great. Just that, what I just said, introduces movement. You know, you can have swords are better than axes because they have more reach, or axes are better than short swords or daggers because they have more reach. That's a plus. Now there should be other drawbacks, like swords have better balance and axes maybe deal more damage. And then scimitars or falcatas are in the middle. They're half sword, half axe. So that right there is great. Just the movement, coming in, coming out, trying to find your zone. But one thing they also add is the possibility of attacks of opportunity. So if you need to step back, they might get a shot off. Or if you need to step into their reach, they might get a shot off at you. So that, again, really plays up some extra tactics, another layer of tactics. So whether you do it only an attack of opportunity when they move in, or only when they move out, or either way they get an attack of opportunity, that's great. Those are all wonderful options you could explore. Now, within the original rule set I'm stealing this from, attack of opportunity has a major penalty versus a regular attack. So it's passive in this case. You don't roll, you just take the average, which is great because it speeds things up. Also, it nerfs it somewhat, especially in this system. A passive roll versus an active roll is a big nerf. So you can give it some kind of penalty like that, make it passive so you don't have to do an extra dice roll because that'll slow things down. There's a variety of ways you can tweak this rule, but I definitely think that it's worth exploring. And then some weapons might change their reach. A hand-and-a-half sword, when you're holding it with 2 hands, you actually don't have quite as much reach as you do when you're holding it only in 1 hand. Or especially a spear. Holding a spear with 1 hand versus 2 hands can be a really big difference in your reach. So that's my house rule I want to share with you, a homebrew rule based, as I said, off Game of Thrones rule set. But I think you could easily adapt it into any other rule set, Warhammer Fantasy, Pathfinder, anything else that has some melee going on where the weapons are really important like that. Let me know what you think about this rule. If you've seen a similar rule, I'd love to hear about it. Or just how to make weapons feel different. I'm always interested in new rules that get that, not just the description, but the mechanics behind them as well. So I'm going to sign out now. Everybody have a good day in YouTube land. Cheers.